Hey there, guys. What is going on? Sloppy here, playing some more Creativerse. I'm not really playing. I'm giving an update, and I'm going to be wandering around the server. So, big new update coming to Creativerse. Creativerse Definitive Edition, which is just a cool title, is coming November 15th. So 2 weeks from when this video comes out, we will have a brand new update for Creativerse that is incredibly large. I made a shorter video last week, 2 weeks ago, whenever we got sort of the official news. I made a video that had a few inaccuracies, not too bad, but a few inaccuracies, and it was just sort of shorter just to kind of get the news out there. This video is going to be a little bit longer. I'm going to go into a little bit more depth. We've got some fantastic FAQs from the developer. They've been answering a ton of questions over on Steam. They've got a Google Doc with FAQs, so we've got quite a bit more information now, and I've spent the last hour and a half, 2 hours sort of putting it all together and making a little bit of a longer video for you guys. So if you want a shorter one, check out the other video. This is going to be a little bit longer, but a little bit more in depth. So, okay, let's just jump into it. First thing, I do want to correct myself from last video. I said Playful was no longer developing. That was the case, but Playful got it back. So it is Playful that's doing all of this. It's not the third-party company that was working on the game for a little bit. So this is Playful. It's all the faces we know and love. So I'm sure we'll get more of the classic update streams with Brain Sloth and David, where they, show us what's up in the update streams. That's sort of a throwback. We haven't had one of those in a while. Anyway, it is Playful, and yes. So anyway, Tuesday, November 15th is the launch. That's 2 weeks from this video coming out, and it won't be free to play anymore. So Creativerse is transitioning to a pay-to-play model. It'll be $24.99 USD if you want to buy it, but there's a bunch of people who get it for free. So if you've bought Creativerse Pro or the Welcome DLC, you get the game for free. Or if you bought the game in early access, so that was previous to 2015, I believe the game cost money in early access, or anyone who bought coins from the store. So, if you were an early backer, which means you already have the Pro DLC, they all got that for free. If you bought the Pro DLC or the Welcome Bundle, or if you've bought any coins, you get the new version for free. If you don't have any of those, it will be $24.99 at launch. Creativerse Pro is $14.99 right now, so you can save $10 if you wanted to go ahead and buy that now. Unfortunately, with the changes coming to the game, if you don't want to pay at all, you just won't be able to play anymore. You won't be able to download your world, so we'll talk about that in a little bit, but you will need to have the new version to download your world. So, yeah, you're going to have to pay somehow if you want to keep playing the game. Wow, I'm bad at talking and walking. So, one of the other big changes, Playful will no longer be hosting the servers for us. So, we've been pretty spoiled here in the Creativerse world by having Playful host the servers for free for us. That'll no longer be the case, which makes a lot of sense, to be honest. It's a change that I'm not too disappointed in. It kind of seems inevitable, it's happening, but we are going to get a lot more customization with our servers, so, this will be something we have to figure out. Apparently there will be public worlds. I'm not sure. I don't think those will be Playful hosted. I think the idea is that there will be public worlds that you can play on that are still player hosted, but if you want to have your own world, you are going to have to host it on your own. So the easiest way to do that, according to them, is to leave your game and PC running and hosting the game locally. They do have some instructions, and they said they will be providing a bunch more when the game actually comes out about how to do this, but you can host it with a cloud service for money if you don't want to leave your PC running at all times but want to have a public world. That's probably what I'm going to be doing, is still hosting sort of a world we can all play on. I'll have more details about that, when everything comes out, because I'm still not totally sure how it'll work. Excuse me. We're going to talk a bunch about migration shortly, but you can download your old worlds. So this world for here, for example, or if you have your own world you've been playing on for a long time, you can download it and continue playing on it. You'll just have to download it and kind of re-upload it and host it yourself. So, specifically about hosting, somebody asked a question about if Playful's going to partner with a third-party host for server hosting. So if there would be some sort of easy button where we can say, yeah, I'll pay $7 a month and, you know, it's all hooked up and you don't have to do anything fancy. I'm sorry, I don't know. I'm all excited and now I'm all phlegmy. So, I want to read this word for word. This was Entulin's answer in the FAQ to the question about third-party hosting. Also, I know this video, I'm just not moving around much because I'm trying to look at my other screen. So, there's no current plan to partner with any third-party host. In particular, as of right now, it will be completely up to each player to decide whether they'll want to rent a remote server to host their worlds or not. Technically, there is no need to have any third-party host to have an online world, not even in the case of an always-online world. Players will still be able to self-host worlds on very weak machines, fingers crossed, and keep them running 24/7 behind their home connection. We'll do our best to provide all the instructions about how to host the world in various ways. Sorry, I'm not super technical. They have repeated that in a few different answers, that there will be, like, it won't be difficult to host your own world. It won't be super demanding on a PC. I believe they said multiple times that you'll be able to host a game on a much weaker PC than you need to play the game. But again, we'll see how it all works. I will try and do a tutorial or something about how we set up our world, just so there'll be some sort of instruction, but I'm sure Playful will have a pretty easy to follow guide. There was one other question about this that I wanted to read his answer for. Somebody asked about connecting with friends and how it'll all work. So right now, this is sort of our menu for selecting worlds, right? You have public, you have recent, you have my worlds, etc., etc. And you have a search option. It sounds like what it'll be in the new one is sort of something similar to recent's my world search, but you'll also have a friends tab where you can see Steam friends worlds, which is pretty cool. I'll read the exact comment here. Somebody asked about if it'll be easy to play with friends. Also, somebody asked about whether or not you can still password protect worlds, and they said yes. You'll still be able to password protect worlds, but you'll also have a lot more options in customizing the worlds, which, again, we'll kind of talk about in another section here. But anyway, I'll read the comment now. Playing with a friend in the new version, assuming the other requirements are met where necessary, a bunch of technical words, will be a matter of just spinning the world up and tell the friend to join the world from the online public section of the server browser in-game. The server browser will also have a friends section, though there may be some rough corners to file after the release of this new version, but if you're friends on Steam, each other's world should appear in that specific section as well. So I was a little bit wrong. I should read before I speak, but there will be a public section, so yeah, if you just want to kind of world hop and see what's what, there will be a section where you can just see worlds that anyone can join and go from there, which is pretty cool, you know? And then there'll also be a friend section. So yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see how this change works. I hope it's relatively easy. I'm sure there will be some bumps and bruises. We'll see. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about migration. So migration is the term they're using for old worlds going to the new game. So all the servers are going to be wiped 90 days after launch. So November 15th launch, 90 days later, so what is that, February something, gone. They'll all be gone. You have 90 days. So there will be more instructions when the new game comes out. I know I keep saying that. I'll do a tutorial on it. I can't imagine it'll be very difficult, but essentially you'll be able to download your old worlds and re-upload them if you want, or just keep them in a game file, but you'll be able to save them to your world and have them, you know? You'll be able to have them, which is good. So we can, you know, download this world, everyone's builds, we won't be losing any of it. And if you really want to continue playing on the same world, you'll be able to just kind of re-upload it and continue playing. You'll just have to host it, which is pretty cool. Also, you can whitelist other players so they can download your world as well, which is pretty cool. So, there was a bunch of questions about this specific migration stuff. I'm just going to go up to the top of the tower so I can read them all. My wizard hat tower. We'll look out at this crazy clown face. You're like right in my way. Here we go. There's a nice view. Check it out on the map. Just awesome. Anyway, so you can only download the new world after the new version launches. So you'll need to have the new version to save your world, or if you just don't want to get the new version for whatever reason, you can turn migration on. You can turn the migration permission on and have somebody else download the world for you after launch. You won't be able to play on the world because there will be no offline version of the game, so you won't be able to have somebody download your old world, send it to you, and then continue playing it, because you will need to connect online, so that will need the new version. But if you wanted to save it and maybe get Creativerse down the road, you can have somebody else save your world if you turn on the right permission, which I'll show how to do in just a moment here. And somebody did ask about abandoned worlds where the owner might not be around anymore. So this was the exact answer that they said. As explained in the FAQ, players that are worried about abandoned worlds can get in touch with support at playfulstudios.com and claim that the worlds are abandoned. They'll look into each case separately, and if they can't get a hold of the world, the owner of the world, in a reasonable amount of time, they'll turn on the migration for you. So if you are playing on a world that maybe the owner of the server hasn't been around in a long time and they don't turn on migration themselves, you can reach out to Playful, and they'll have like a support line, and you can reach out and have it turned on. So yeah, that's pretty great. If you are playing in a world, you can always check that out, which is cool. So servers going away 90 days after launch. I just want to mention it again. 90 days, everything's getting deleted, so save your worlds. Honestly, I would just try and do it as soon as possible. Just make sure that you get it in there. So what is stored during migration? Everything in the world, including all of your changes, everything stored in chests, world metadata, even stuff like half-finished blueprints and items in your inventory and hotbar. The only items that won't migrate are bundles, which are account locked, so claim any in a login chest. So when you save your world, it saves everything. So everything in your chests, everything in your inventory, except bundles and the login bundles. So if you have any of those, I guess claim them all and then save it your world. I know I used to have a bunch of the DLC ones here. Just put them on the ground, put them in a chest, just save them, open them, save them, and then save your world, and you're all set. But these won't transfer over. Everything like this will. Whew, okay. So, let's talk about the migration tags real quick. I'm going to do it from this side of the tower. So, migration. Let's talk about it. All right. Yes, so if you're the server owner, you have to do this. If you can't get in touch with the server owner, you're going to have to contact support. But if you're the server owner, this is how you turn on migration. Open your world. In the Edit World section, which you can also do from the menu, you don't have to open your world. You have all the options. So when you made the world, you would have seen this. Oh, look. You have a public world tag. Whoops. Anyway, this tag section down here is where the magic happens. So the tag is... Oh, this is awkward. Migration allowed. So, if your world has this tag, anyone will be able to download it. If your world doesn't have this tag, only the server owner will be allowed to download it. Again, this is only when the new version comes out, but you can set it now. So if I type migration allowed, anyone can check out my world, and go and download it and save it to their own world. Anyone anyone can download my world and save it to their computer. If you don't want to allow this, just don't have this tag. You'll still be able to download the world as the server owner, but nobody else will. And if they do have one other tag, so if you're a server owner and you specifically don't want anyone to download your world, but you also don't want any abandoned world claims, so you don't want anyone reaching out to Playful to try and get your world downloaded, you can do migration forbidden. So migration forbidden just lets Playful know you didn't abandon your world, you just don't want anyone else downloading it. So migration allowed, migration forbidden. If you have migration allowed, anyone can save your world. If you don't have migration allowed, only you can save your world. If you have migration forbidden, you can still save your world, but you're just telling Playful that you don't want anyone else to be doing it. You didn't abandon your world, you just don't want it saved. Cool. So I'm going to turn on migration allowed. And then, yeah, this is the world we've all been playing on. Link in the Discord if you're curious. We will be starting a new world, I think, once this new version comes out. I think it's time. We've been playing on this world a very long time. But, of course, if anyone wants to keep playing on it, they can download it. So, migration allowed. You'll also be able to search by tags. So, if you do want to check out worlds that you can download, you'll be able to see it there. Cool. So, that's migration. I hope that helps. Any questions, of course, about any of this, leave it in the comments down below. Even if I can't answer it, I can ask the people who can. There's also a bunch of people watching these videos who are way smarter than I am, so they might be able to answer in the comments. All right, let's quickly talk about the technical requirements. So, you will need an internet connection. You will not be able to play without internet connectivity. There's no offline mode. I know some people were a little bit annoyed about that. You can open the game and just play alone and not, tell anyone about the server or anything. But you will need an internet connection. There is no offline mode. There will not be any support for Mac at launch. There's a fun sensor there somewhere. There will not be any support for Mac at launch, which is a bummer. I'm going to read, somebody asked specifically about this, so I do want to read the response. For what it's worth, we haven't given up on Mac yet. As pointed out in the FAQ, we will almost surely not be able to support Mac in the initial release. This is due to the fact that we rely on some core features provided by Steam. Such specific features aren't supported by Steam itself on Mac systems. Yes, chances are thin, but we are still trying to find a way to make the new version available for Mac players. So for any of you Apple folk, it's a bummer, and I'm sorry, it sucks to lose access to a game, but they are trying to work on it, so, hopefully we can get you back, We're not PC. What's the words? We're not, I don't know. We're not, I don't have any issue with Macs. You get it. You're smart. Anyway, also no support for Linux. They did say they are maybe working on this as well, but Mac, Linux support will be going away. Requirements to run the game are going to be the exact same as the game now, so you won't need a better computer. Requirements are staying the exact same for running the game, which is great. They did say you can host the game on a lower end computer. So if you have a potato somewhere and you wanted to host a world, you can do that. So you can host the game, host a server, host a world on a lower end PC, but the requirements will be the exact same to run the game. They did mention there's some upgrades to the game, but it'll be similar in performance. So they did mention some client upgrades, some under the hood stuff, but it'll be pretty similar in terms of performance, which I think the game's in a pretty decent spot right now. The server side performance, I imagine, will just depend on the server itself. The playful ones have had times where they're not great, but they've also been pretty solid. Yeah, we're on a Europe server, so that's kind of impressive. But yeah, some of it will depend on your own internet connection. If you're hosting the world, of course, if it's really choppy, the world will probably be choppy. But similar in terms of performance. I did also want to mention, because a lot of people were asking about this, now that you have to download the world and host it yourself, how big are these worlds? So, if the world uses an RW template, which is the normal world maps like this, the backup size is about 100 megabytes, so the total required storage for the template, the world folder, and the backups is about 2.5 gigabytes, give or take. So when you're hosting a world, it'll be downloading backups onto your system. So he said 2.5 gigabytes. I'm just going to round it up. Let's say 3 gigabytes a world. The game itself is a little under 3 gigabytes, I believe. So, I mean, 10 gigabytes of hard drive storage would be enough for the game and 2 worlds with some extra room. So, pretty small overall. I know there's some people who might have storage requirements, but I think it's pretty reasonable. I just downloaded Ark Survival Evolved, and the game was like 109 gigabytes. So, I'm not going to complain about maybe 10 if I have a few worlds. Sadly, one thing we are losing is adventures, so that sucks. I thought adventures were always a really, really cool addition to the game. They never quite got the love I think they deserved, but I think adventures were really cool. I totally understand why they're going away. They gave a bunch of very, very good reasons in the FAQs if you're curious. But yes, adventures will be going away. Some of the adventure stuff will kind of be available inside of the worlds themselves, but adventures themselves will be going away. If you do have an adventure you want to save, you're going to have to save the world. So if you guys weren't aware, every adventure is inside of a Creativerse world somewhere. So Echo's cool house is in a world somewhere. Same with Mouse House and all of the sort of classics. Super Dave's got so much cool stuff. So if you do want to save these, you're going to have to save the world. And yeah, adventures are going away. It's a bummer, but here we are. Somebody specifically asked about multiplayer adventures, which I just wanted to share this because that's something I've always thought would be incredible. So I wanted to share Creativerse's answers about multiplayer adventures. So here we go. We do want to bring back some of the adventure features and integrate them in normal worlds, so that the normal worlds themselves could have adventure aspects to them, which would kind of make them multiplayer adventures. The fact that the owners will be able to completely customize the quests inside of the worlds is already a good step towards that idea. We'll see how it goes in the future. I personally definitely want to have some features back one way or another. So, unfortunately, we're losing adventures, but we might get some pretty interesting stuff in normal worlds. But yeah, if you do have adventures you want to save the world itself. I've also seen a few people who've made some pretty cool adventures, like, you know, these sort of smaller ones that are maybe tutorials and stuff. You can also save them as blueprints. Blueprints will not be going anywhere. They'll function the same. So, yeah. Sad day, but adventures are going away. Let's talk about worlds. So, I'm pretty excited about this. Worlds are getting kind of a big change, which is cool. So this is the new world menu if you create a new world right now. So, for those who don't know, we have a bunch of map templates in this game. We have 8 worlds. There's not going to be any new ones, so there's going to be 8 worlds total, no new map templates, which, you know, is what it is. I was hoping we might get 1 or 2, but it sounds like they're working on something pretty cool. So let me just read a little thing about new maps. No new map templates, but we'll be working on tools. If you mean altering the terrain generation of templates, right now it's not possible to generate other worlds with the same features of the current RW worlds. but we're investigating making a procedural generator that will be able to do so. For the time being, the new version will ship with an alpha procedural generator with very, very limited features and limited support, but should provide a good testing ground for the approach and maybe give players something new and unusual to play with. So we're not getting into new worlds, but they are sort of alpha testing procedural generation, similar to what Minecraft has, where the world is sort of randomly generated as you're in it. They did mention that the size of the worlds won't change, so even with procedural generation, it'll still be the same size as worlds are now, which, by the way, is gigantic. So, yeah. Yep. Creative mode won't be going anywhere. Creative mode will still be around if you want to use that option, but there will be additional options inside of the world that we'll talk about in a little bit, but creative mode will still be there. Everything will be world bound and no longer account bound. So arc vaults are going away, costumes will be by world and not on your account, coins will be by world, not by account. Every single thing will be world bound. So let's keep talking about new worlds, not the MMO. That's a bad joke. Anyway, let's talk about new worlds. I'm pretty excited about how much they're letting us customize. One thing I like about Minecraft is when you run your own server, your own world, you can kind of customize it as much as you want. And Creativerse is really leaning into that, which I'm super stoked about. So, I guess while we're here, we can talk a little bit about... Yeah. This will all be going away. There will be no in-game store anymore. There won't be anything to purchase like this. As you can see, they moved it all to free. So if you want to go grab those and play with them, they won't be carrying over. Again, everything will be world-bound. But if you do want to go play with the costumes and whatever, you know, get after it. It's pretty fun. Oh yeah, I forgot there's a bunch I don't actually own. Anyway, all of this stuff will be part of the game separate from paying for it. So it'll all be in the game and you'll be able to earn it in worlds by doing quests and whatever else the actual owner of the world wants to do. Premium recipes and consumables will also be in mob and treasure chests and as quest rewards. Yeah, so all of this will be in the game and you'll be able to unlock costumes and all sorts of different things in the game through playing it and not through buying it, which is a pretty cool change. And I'm really excited. I think we'll be able to do some really, really cool things on custom servers. I wanted to talk a little bit about custom servers, custom worlds. I know I'm using those terms interchangeably, but here are some of the things you can customize in your own world. Starting claim counts and the claim cost. So for claims, they are still going to be in the game, but it'll be up to the server owner. So I can say everyone has 5 claims and they cost 1 dirt block each. I can say unlimited claims, all sorts of crazy things. Costume cost editor. So if I want to make a bunch of quests that give you coins and then say every costume is 5 coins, so maybe every 2 quests you can buy a costume, we can totally do that now, which is very, very cool and sounds a little RPG-ish if we want to get into it. The cost of blueprints you can edit. Quest rewards editor, so you can actually set how much people earn by doing quests. And apparently there will be a way to make your own quests so you can do some really, really cool things. Toggle to clear map fog, which is just cool. So in maps, right now you have to explore to get rid of the fog. We can just get rid of that, which is kind of cool. Modifiers for jump height, fall damage, weapon damage, stamina, and ability cooldowns. I can make everyone weak as heck. I can make it so that if you fall 2 blocks, you might die. We can do all kinds of crazy things, which I also think is really, really cool for mini games and stuff like that. You can map view for choosing world template. You can toggle holiday events on and off, so if we want to have Halloween in July, we can do that for a day, and more. I guess what I'm getting at, that's just a list of random things they said. There's going to be so much customization when it comes to worlds. I think you'll be able to do like a crazy amount more and have a really good time with it, which is really, really cool. So the second half of that comment from End to End, I just wanted to mention, also worth mentioning, that since the full game will be stored locally, even more customizations will be Even more customization options will be open for players willing to do some light modding. For example, you can further edit things like processor and forge timers in the world's JSON files. So, they did mention there might be some light modding available, which is crazy cool. Imagine if things processed a little faster, or maybe the hoe, when you're tilling land, is a little bit quicker. You can do all of that, which is very, 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 very cool. I'm just going to read a few more things they said. Please remember that the new version of the game will allow getting all content via in-game means one way or another. So there's no item or block you won't be able to obtain from creator mode or via the give chat command. So world owners, mods will have a /give command where you can give blocks to people if you so choose. So you can do minigame prizes and stuff like that. Again, more customization. Yes, please. The FAQ covers qubits as well. Yes, qubits will be around. So qubits are the little guys that can build blueprints for you. You'll still be able to use them to auto-build blueprints, but as the FAQ points out, that will be under the owner's control as well. You could set the cost to auto-build blueprints to use grass or dirt as far as the game is concerned. Qubits and coins in the new version of the game are just a normal item like any other. And with the owners having control over the quests as well and the ability to make recurring quests with custom rewards, they could also grant their players a steady income of qubits and coins to be spent on blueprint kits and costumes and things like that. Yeah, so I can make recurring quests, something like every time you kill 10 pigsies, you get 5 coins, and then you can use the coins to buy blueprints. I can set the price of the blueprints, I can set the price of qubits, all of that sort of stuff. Which means you could have like a cool economy. There's also a new mailbox system where you'll be able to give things and leave messages to other players, so when they log in, they'll have a message from you, which means you could, in theory, I think, have like trading. So, yeah, you might be able to have like pretty cool little economies inside of Creativerse, which would be super cool. I also think this level of customization, I'm trying not to interject too much of my own opinions here because I did want to put out a video Thursday, sort of my opinions on the change itself, but you know, the more customization the better. One thing I've kind of disliked about Creativerse over the past bit is once you reach kind of the Lumite level, there's not much challenge left in the game, and you are now kind of able to change that, and you can, in theory, I guess, create kind of endgame quests if you really want to, but I think it's really neat. Anyway, world claims, I just wanted to mention this because there was a few questions about claims, which I understand people are talking about. I know a lot of people play on like public worlds, so claims are really important. So I did want to mention this answer that somebody got in the FAQs. World owners will have full control over the following starting claims for any given role. So owner, admin, mod, etc. I can set mods to have more claims if I want, which is really cool if you want to do something like a very big spawn room in a public world or a mini game world, something like that, where you want a very large area to be untouched. You can sort of do that. You can set max amount of claims for any given role. So if I want to limit non-admins to 4 claims in a world, you know, you can do that, which is cool. Cost to buy any given claim, you can do it down to the resource and the quantity. If you want all claims to cost 1 dirt, you'll be able to do that. So again, right now claims are kind of weird how they work. The first claim's really cheap, the second one's expensive, the third's very expensive, etc. But you can get rid of all that if you want. And as for protecting from griefers, having access to virtually unlimited amount of claims should be a good step forward. It's a great step forward. In addition to that, the new version will also have a very fine control over the frequency and amount of backups, so owners will be able to restore any backup to try and sort the worst cases. Yeah, so this actually went a little bit further. You can control how often your world backs up. So if you have a public world with a ton of people, you can have backups every 10 minutes if you want. You can have them at the end of each day. And yeah, so there's kind of a lot of like anti-grief control with the claims and with the ability to have backups. We only had one griefing incident on this world, thankfully. It was a pain to fix, but we did get it fixed. But you know, if we're able to restore backups and have claims, especially unlimited claims, that's something that happened here. I just wanted to show the example. So the way claims have worked is that you can set claims for, here's a claim right here. You can set claims for 1 square in the map. So something we ran into on this server is that it takes a lot of claims to like get every section of this teleporter hub. You know, we need to claim even this to get that little edge. And we just ran out of claims. So, you know, this is unprotected. This is what actually ended up getting griefed was our beautiful teleporter hub, which was really unfortunate. We did end up getting it fixed, but you'll be able to sort of better protect against that, which is great for public worlds. And worlds even like this one that are a little bit larger, you know, 307 players I think we're at, which is crazy cool. Yeah, more protection, more customization, more options, great stuff. So let's talk about quests. This is our quest system right now. It is, it's okay. I mean, right now it's more or less sort of a tutorial system that gets you to go to every biome and kill every creature, do stuff like this, like taming a boss hog and washing them and etc. Right now it's kind of a tutorial system for, you know, learning the game, which is fine. So let's talk about quests. They'll most likely reset, but also there will be a completely new set of quests. So this system's being reworked. Somebody had asked if, when you download the world and re-upload it, if all of your quest data will be there. Most likely not, so, you know, take that for what you will. I'm just going to continue reading the answer about quests. I can't anticipate how much we'll be able to put there right now. Chances are the default quests will be fewer and simpler, but that's where even if we fall short, players will be able to do their thing. Quests will be completely customizable and shareable among players. There will also be a quest editor, very, very alpha, which will simplify such a customization to an extent. Instead of having to edit the JSON file manually and having to hunt block item IDs, there will be some sort of quest editor alpha version. So, yeah, you'll be able to make these. And you'll be able to choose the rewards, you'll be able to set the quests, and then share them. So, there is so much possibility with that. A completely customizable quest system in your world. I mean, I can't even imagine how much you'll be able to do if it actually works the way I think it might. I mean, just, I'm so excited about the possibilities of that I don't know. I'm just so excited about it. Oh, I'm pretty pumped about this specific change. I think a lot of the changes are really good. I'm hoping this sort of quest thing can almost replace losing adventures, which I am bummed about. I understand why they're doing it. I'm hoping this can kind of take that. So I'm really hoping they put a lot of effort into this quest thing and make them customizable. I mean, it's just cool to think that we can all play in a world and, I don't know, every Monday I can put out 4 new quests for random rewards. Other people can put out quests. I just love the sort of interconnectivity that sort of thing can bring. But yes, quest system will be reworked and we'll be able to make our own, which is very neat. You know, you also might be able to do things like bring me, you know, 50 leather and you get 5 coins or something. You know? Maybe I'll just put all you to work. I know I already mentioned it. Blueprints are staying the same. They're hosted in the Steam Workshop, so there shouldn't be any change. The only change will be that servers themselves will be able to set the prices. I'm curious how this will work. There's very different size. I mean, this is 34,000 blocks. You know, this is 15,000 blocks. So I'm curious how that'll all work with being able to set the prices as the owner of the server. But this will all work normally. And yeah, That's pretty cool. The in-game shop's going away. Everything will be world-bound with prices determined by owner. Sorry, I know there's sub-repeats on my list here, but we're getting near the end. Whew, okay, the last thing I did want to touch on, this is a little bit of a bummer, but I guess I'm not too surprised. They mentioned there will be 300 new blocks on launch. Somebody asked about that. So this is the answer. Those 300 new blocks, those 300 blocks are definitely new blocks. There are some completely new blocks with new textures, just a handful. The vast majorities of those additions are set completions, say adding stairs and slopes to sets that only had columns, stuff like that. So out of the 300 blocks, the vast majority are slabs, slopes, stairs, columns, that sort of thing, which, you know, I'm okay with. I was surprised when I saw 300 new blocks. I'm gonna be honest. Yeah, I think we might have enough. You know, we have a ridiculous amount of blocks in this game. It is cool. We're getting a few more, especially with painting. You know, I feel like we've definitely got a lot of options in this game. But I did want to mention it because that was something that came up. Whew. So, I have been talking way too long. My voice is starting to go hoarse. I have no idea how long this video will be. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I am going to make a video just talking about my own feelings separately. But I'm pretty excited. I wouldn't have faulted Playful for not continuing development on this game at this point, if I'm honest. You know, it's been around 8-9 years at this point, and I'm really excited they're giving it sort of another breath of life. They did mention in the FAQ that they're open to developing it continuously and still going, but it all just depends on popularity, right? And how well the game does, which is a completely reasonable thing. So yeah, I'm really excited to see how this goes. I'm excited to play the update. I'm super excited for all the customization options. I think it's an excellent change for the game. It's something I've sort of hoped for a while. I mean, even the addition of like light modding could be really, really cool. The quest system sounds awesome. I'm super fascinated with how this all goes. I will be making videos, of course, and covering it, and hopefully doing some tutorials for some of the more annoying stuff. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in those comments down below. Subscribe for more, of course. And yeah, really do let me know in the comments what you think. And if you have any questions, let me know. I can try and find them out. And I don't know. I'm just excited. I've been talking too long. And I hope you guys are as excited as I am. November 15th. 2 weeks away. I mean, okay. I'm going to go before I get excited again. Ciao.